Quick disclaimer before we get into the video, I'm not a professional seamstress. I'm just a girl who loves to sew and I'm still learning a lot. I'm also a busy mom of two, so I try to keep things as simple, quick, and efficient as possible since my sewing time is pretty limited. Sometimes I do things a little bit differently, and the way that I do things may not always be technically correct. I'm so sorry if that bothers you. If I'm not your cup of tea, that's totally okay. There are lots of amazing professional seamstresses to watch out there, but I hope you will stick around and hang out with me while we make some really beautiful things together. That being said, let's get into the video. Hi friends, I'm so glad you're here. Today I'm just sharing a quick little video with you showing how I made some really simple little aprons. I made 4 new aprons. I wear aprons almost every single day, so I needed some more, and I needed some that had slightly longer straps and just worked a little bit better for my growing baby bump. So right here I'm just showing you a clip of cutting out all the pieces. 2 of these aprons I did just a simple skirt apron, I guess kind of a half apron you could call it. So that was just the main portion of the apron and a waistband, and then the other 2 I did a bib front on them as well so that they have a little bit more coverage. For those messier projects, especially when I'm cooking and things are splattering, I like to have a more full apron, but if I'm doing other projects around the house, sometimes a half works just fine. So here I'm just going through and finishing my edges. I did get a serger. I'm so excited about it. My sweet family members, a bunch of them got together and got me a serger for my birthday, which just absolutely blows my mind. So generous. I can't believe that I have it. I'm in love with it, but I'm still getting to know, the new machine and learning how to use it. So I didn't use it for this video, but I'm sure you will see my fancy new serger in an upcoming video. So I'm just doing some simple rolled edges to finish these, clean everything up nicely. Again, the pieces, which I'll walk you through in a couple clips here, all of the pieces that I have for each apron. So you can kind of get an idea of what you'll need if you're going to try to make these. They're so simple, so easy. You can see there's just a few long tubes of fabric, which those will end up being the waistband or the neck tie straps, whatever you want to call them. And then there's the main portion of the apron, the kind of skirt of the apron, as I call it. I don't know what else you would call it. And for a couple of those aprons, there's also the bib piece that you'll see on top. So I'm just getting all those edges nice and finished so they don't fray. Again, these are going to be used all the time, so I wanted to make sure that all those edges are going to be nice and secure. Is that how you should put it? So that as they're getting used so much and washed, they're not going to be fraying and they can last a really long time. And then here I'm just going through and flipping the tubes right side out. So those again are going to be like our waistbands and the tie closures for the aprons and the straps, necktie kind of part as well. And in a moment, I'm just going to go through and iron all of these different pieces so that they're really nice and neat and easy to work with once I end up putting them all together and actually getting the aprons fully put together. Always so satisfying, this part. I know that I probably am technically supposed to iron the fabric before I even do anything as well, but honestly, I just never really feel like that's that necessary. I mean, if I'm working with a fabric that's super wrinkled, maybe I'll do that, but I just choose to skip that part. So here's my pieces for this simple kind of cream white apron. There's just the neck strap, the waistband, the bib, and then the main skirt portion. And then here's another one, same thing, the bib, the waistband, and that waistband extends to be the tie closure as well. And then a neck strap and the main portion of the apron. And then these last 2 are just half aprons. So there's a waistband and the skirt. Super simple. And all those pieces are ironed and ready to be used. So now I'm just going to go through, I should say real quick, I thrifted all this fabric. If you're new to this channel, I pretty much only use thrifted fabrics. I just feel like that's a really sustainable way to do things, and it's a very, very affordable way to do things. So I thought these were pretty, and honestly, that was a little bit of my motivation for making more aprons, is I wanted some that were really pretty and had some floral prints and stuff like that, since most of the ones I have right now are just simple white aprons, which are great too, but you know. Anyway, so what I was doing there just a second ago, I thought I could go through and pleat this, because when I don't have a big belly, pleating my aprons sometimes works really well and it hangs really nicely. But I quickly realized that with a growing baby bump, that was not flattering at all. So I'm gathering it instead, just going through with a really long, wide stitch all along the top of that apron skirt and gathering it up to the point that I like, to the point that fits my waist nicely and kind of gives me the coverage around to my back that I like. And then I'm just pinning that to the waistband. So for this one, I pinned the waistband right sides together with the top of the apron skirt, and that one is ready to be sewn down. And then I'm going to go through and do the same thing, gather just a really long wide stitch all the way along the top of that skirt portion, and that'll allow me to, you know, make it fit the waist really nicely. I could do this gathering on my machine, and I do that sometimes, but some of these fabrics were a little bit thicker, a little bit sturdier, and I just feel like when I try to gather on my machine with a fabric like that, the thread usually ends up snapping. Maybe I'm just dumb and I'm just doing something terribly wrong, but that's always really frustrating if you're trying to gather something and halfway through the thread snaps and you have to start all over. So I'm just doing it by hand with a pretty thick thread to ensure that that won't happen. And you can see here and on the last one as well, I believe I'm kind of sandwiching the waistband over that gathered portion and then pin that down, and that's where that waistband will be sewn on. And then here for this last one, this fabric was very, very sturdy, which I like for the sake of an apron that's going to be really thick. So, you know, nothing really is going to penetrate through that apron. So it's just a nice thing to have on hand depending on the chore or whatever that you're doing. But it did make gathering really awkward. It's just not really a fabric that can be gathered. And so anyway, I ended up just doing a couple little pleats on the sides and kind of folding it in a little bit too, to make that fit my waist. And now I'm just attaching all of the pieces of the aprons together. So here you can see I'm kind of putting the straps, the neck strap, onto the bib front portion. It should be pretty self-explanatory when you see the pictures at the end. Hopefully you'll be able to see all of the pieces coming together. There I'm just attaching the bib to the top of the apron skirt. The waistbands are attached. Hopefully this is making sense. I apologize if this is hard to see or isn't super, super clear, but hopefully you get the idea. It's really, really simple. Just a couple little pieces like this one here, just the skirt piece, and then it's attached to a waistband piece. Super, super easy. That one was my least favorite. It was not very flattering for the bump just because it was such a stiff fabric, but I'm sure I'll still get a lot of use out of it. And this one as well, super easy, super simple. Just the skirt portion of the apron and then a waistband tied cute in a bow. I made the waistband really, really long so that there's plenty of room for me to tie it over my bump. And this one, I think this is my favorite apron. Love it. So you can see there's the neck strap at the top, just attached to the bib, super easy, just stitched on there, nothing fancy. The waistband attached to the skirt portion and the bib attached to the top of the skirt portion of the apron. And this last one, just a white apron, super simple. I think they all turned out really cute and really useful. I know I'm gonna be able to wear these pretty much every single day, which again is why I made these. I use aprons all the time. Here's just a little bit of footage of each of the aprons as we close out this video so you can kind of see them in motion and see the full length of this white one as well, or cream one. I wanted one that was really, really long because sometimes I'm wearing a really long skirt and I just want that full coverage. And then this one was probably my least favorite. It's just a little stiff and awkward, but I'm sure I'll still get a lot of use out of it. This one's super pretty, and the last one I'm going to show you is my favorite one that I made. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this just quick, simple little video. Hopefully you're able to kind of see the basic idea of what I was doing to make each of these aprons. And I hope you'll come back really soon for more videos. I really appreciate you being here, you guys. Bye.